I wanted to show you two more of the wonderful, all-original automatons from Leopold Lambert of the style known as the little girl standing in the box doing dainty, delicate little pieces. And by the way, we were talking before about Ernestine Guimau being in charge of the costumes for her husband. In this case, Leopold Lambert's wife was in charge of the costuming for his little girl automatons. And they have the same kind of style and panache and good colors and fabrics as the Ernestine Guimau did for the Guimau dolls. So I like to give them proper credit. So let's look at this little girl. Very classic design. She's got a fan and she's delicately fanning herself. And she is lifting flowers up and down to sniff them, and then she's going to turn her head. These are Guimau heads that were commissioned from Guimau by Lambert to make his beautiful automatons. Very beautiful, dainty movements. They were designed not to play with, but to have as parlor pieces. This one has a very stunning costume, original costume, again with that popular aqua color and overlaid with wonderful lace, little matching shoes. And I'm going to turn it around so you can see her costume all the way around. I hope you've seen enough of that wonderful fan. And then we turn it. You can see how beautiful it is from all sides with the silk ribbons and the lace continuing in the back. And you can see the detail of her hat from the back. The hat was designed to be positioned on the head just perfectly so it would frame the face, and when you see coming around how it has the upward tilt of it, it's just very beautifully done. Very, very lovely doll. You know, it was very difficult to design these costumes because they had to look fashionable and they had to look realistic, but they had to also allow the articulation of the movement, and that's why it was a very, very special technique and just wonderful to do. Here's another great example. This one is a little girl holding an egg, and she's got a surprise. A little more festive. Tilting your head and tilting your head. Turning, turning. Is everyone watching? And lifting the top of the egg in which a little baby chick appears. It's a wonderful piece. I love the music on this one. And I'm going to turn her around so you can see her all the way around. The back of her skirt is very frail, but this is what you need to keep this because it is totally original. You can see underneath how the silk was originally. She is, however, 140 years old, and aren't we all a little bit faded by then? I wanted you to notice the top of her bonnet. Look at the detail on that. All original and absolutely stunning. Beautiful bisque hands. And once again to see her little surprise. Get ready. Get ready for it. She's starting to quiver her little hand, turning her head. Are you watching? Are you watching? And here's my little surprise. If you notice, the flowers on this tray match the flowers in her hat, by the way. And both of the dolls I just showed you have wonderful original soft mohair wigs. When you're very lucky, the automaton will have their original paper label on the bottom telling the tunes that they're playing. It will tell, number one, if they're playing one tune, two tunes, or more. And if you're lucky, it will have the name of the tune as well, which, although it will usually be in French, can easily be deciphered by you. It's great to have the original paper labels. A little while ago, we looked at the monkey Marquis perched on the end of his little stool, and he was playing a harp. Well, that kind of theme of a doll, seated doll, playing a musical instrument was quite popular, and this is one that Vichy did later on. This is a bisque doll, not a paper mache, and it's a person, not a monkey, seated on the edge of a little velvet stand, very, very dainty and much smaller than the monkey, and silk troubadour costume, and he is playing a violin. Turning his head, strumming the violin. Peaceful times, folks, peaceful times. More gentle. Do you notice when the song changed? So there are at least 2 tunes being played here. Doll has the classic Vichy metal hands. Very beautiful piece by the French automaton maker Roulet and Decamp. The firm started originally as one of the gentlemen, and then the 2 merged, and they made pieces from the 1860s into close to the 1920s. This lovely example, I'm going to turn it to the side so you can see her, is definitely fashioned as a lady, not a child. She's wearing an exquisite rose silk costume with wonderful details of flouncing, crepe de chine flowers and silk ribbons. Has her original wig and bonnet, and she holds a lorgnette and a fan. A variation on an earlier one we saw of a little girl doing the same. And you saw her moving her head movements and the fan going up and down and lifting, then alternately lifting the lorgnette. The music on this one is particularly a fine, fine quality. Beautiful piece. Bisque hands, which are quite desirable. We have another wonderful example by Leopold Lambert in all original condition. A little girl is seated on, I'm going to turn it and lift her dress so you can see, is seated on a little wooden stool, and she's holding a rattle in one hand and her little bisque doll in the other. She wears her beautiful original silk costume, and this costume is stunning. Faded a bit. It looks like if you peek underneath you can see it was rose at one time, and now faded to like a soft ivory color, but that's okay. That's the patina of age. It's very beautiful. She sits on a velvet covered base, and as you can see, she has her little feet are bent at the knee, because when she is wound, she will turn her head from side to side. She opens and closes her eyes. That's 2 movements. She nods. That's 3. She lifts her little doll and gives her a little kiss. That's 4. And then she shakes the rattle. She shakes that rattle pretty vigorously, I will say, but that's okay. She's pretty happy. She just kissed the doll. And periodically, her little foot taps. All of these movements take place, and at the same time, beautiful music is playing. She's in wonderful, original condition. Very, very beautiful doll. We have another beautiful little girl at her toilette table. This theme was very popular, done by Vichy, done by Leopold Lambert, who was the maker in this case, and other firms as well. Sometimes as a little girl, sometimes as a very elegant lady. In this case, a model made about 1895. She's wearing her original pink dress, and she stands before the dressing table with its gorgeous lace skirt on it, and she has a powder puff in one hand and the mirror in the other. And she will turn her head and alternately powder her face and then appear to look in the mirror. Very simple movements, but with the overall presentation of it, just absolutely charming, a wonderful thing. We have to conclude our automaton presentation with this absolutely wonderful and unbelievably rare piece. It was made by Roulet and Decamp. Remember, they made some of the pretty little girls, but they also made a whole series of animals. Sometimes they were humanized animals like a kitten knitting, that type of thing, and sometimes they made really ferocious and highly realistic pieces like this. I've looked through their catalogs. This is not a standard size. It's a large exhibition size, and I'm proposing that it probably was made originally for an exhibition piece. It certainly is an attention grabber, but do you realize there's his key, and there's the push-pull mechanism at the side, and do you realize the various movements this fellow had? His eyes were bulging back and forth. His fangs, his ferocious mouth was moving up and down, and as you can see when I'm doing it manually, it goes in conjunction with his eyes. His feet move, all four of his paws, I don't know what you call alligator feet, are they paws, are moving, and then we have swivel movement at the neck. We have swivel movement at, what is this, his hips, I guess, you know, this part of his torso has a swivel movement. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 segments of his tail that all move independently. So he has his most realistic movement and great fun. I'm sorry, I love the beautiful pieces and I love the elegant pieces, but a piece like this comes along and hey, this is what collecting is all about too. It's just fun. I hope that we'll see you at the auction. I hope if we can't see you there, you'll be watching the auction live online in your home. And I hope you enjoy these videos very much and enjoy them for time to come. Collecting is wonderful. It's so much fun.